This is a Lawful Stupid RPG production.
Hail and well met, and welcome to Echoes of Krynn, Dragons of the Hidden Flood, a 5th edition D&D actual play podcast set in the world of Dragonlance and presented by Lawful Stupid RPG. Thank you for joining us. If you're a fan of what we do and would like to buy us a cup of coffee to show your appreciation, we would love to take you up on it. Visit www.ko-fi.com/lawfulstupidrpg to show your support. And now, it is time for our players to present themselves.
Hello, I am Jade, and I'm the founder of Lawful Stupid RPG, and I am playing Tharin, the Dwarven Cleric of Shidare.
Hi, I'm Sukti Panda. I'm a Twitch streamer, and I play
Teely Tumblewood, the Kender Bard.
Hi friends, my name is Samus. I am an opera singer, and I play Onweir, the human rogue and fallen Solemnic Knight.
Hi, I'm Chael. I'm not an opera singer. I'm a D&D super nerd, and I play Lip, the Gully Dwarf Barbarian Habope.
Hello, I'm Chops. I am a paranormal investigator, and today I'm playing Lhasa, the half-elven wizard.
Hiya, I'm Lindsay Rousseau, and I am a voiceover actor, host, and D&D Twitch streamer, and I am playing Monto Bubalina, the human fighter who resides in Urgoth.
And I'm Medium. I'm here to guide and to follow. Now, I invite you to step with us into fantasy, and for our time together, let imagination rule.
Last time, after bringing peace to the undead spirit of a painter, the adventurers found their way into another area of the ruined conservatory, this one seemingly dedicated to the creation of music. There, they learned of the inveterate lyre, said to be the first instrument of its kind ever to exist on Krynn. Their explorations yielding nothing further, they returned to the cavern wherein they first discovered the Tuscanville Conservatory, buried for centuries by the Cataclysm.
As you come back into this space, you take your bearings, smelling the stale air that hasn't been breathed in many centuries. Teely, as you step out of the Hall of Parchment, you hear very faintly just the barest hint of someone playing a lyre. Too quiet for you to make out what the tune could be. It's really just a few notes, just ping, 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 ping. The moment you try to pay close attention to it, you can't hear it anymore. But you think it came from somewhere to your left as you step out of the Hall of Parchment.
my eyes dart side to side as I think if it was just in my head, and I'll tiptoe around the corner and take a peek, try and see if I can see where this sound may have came from.
All right, you tiptoe around the corner and you can see that in the same way that the other side of this large room had steps leading up into the Hall of Canvas, this side has steps arranged similarly, except this time they go up and to the left. And on the outside of this structure, buried like all the rest, very faintly you can see the words, Hall of Stone.
I turn back to the party.
Did, any of you hear that?
What is it that you've heard?
I hear nothing.
A little, like, ding, ding, ding.
I gesture with my hands as if playing a lyre.
It's coming, up the left stairs.
I heard no such thing.
Nor I.
Did you get hit in the head, dear?
I probably did. I'm pretty clumsy. But no, I definitely heard this.
I wouldn't be surprised. We've already seen some very strange things here. Perhaps it would be best to investigate.
I like your thinking. So I take that you're coming with me?
Ah, yes, of course.
Look, and find more ghosts?
Well, hopefully not.
Well, I think they are going to find us no matter if we stay here or go there.
I do not like undead. I'm staying here, and I sit on the floor.
Oh,
Theron, if you stay here by yourself, you're very likely to encounter a ghost on your own.
Ugh. I never thought about it that way. Plus, you're probably going to need me as well.
and right you are. We'd be lost without you, of course.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but
Shh. Definitely be lost without me. I'm a dwarf and we're underground. It makes perfect sense. And I will get up and straighten my my toga I'm still wearing.
Well, if we are to encounter undead down here, which that spirit certainly appeared to be, is there anything you can tell us as a cleric? This is the first time I've ever encountered anyone who has any power, or at least claims to have some sort of power over such things. Do you?
Claims? Well, let's see. How long have I been a cleric? Not long enough to know, I'm afraid.
Wonderful.
And this is the first time I've met undead.
Even more wonderful.
Teely, lead the way.
And I do just that. Have a skip in my step, and I head up these stairs in the direction where I heard the lyre. And I'm constantly tilting my head, cupping my ear with my hand, trying to see if I can hear it any clearer.
All right, make a perception check.
Oh boy.
Should have had my dice ready. That is a 17.
A 17. Well, you don't see anything other than the dust-covered steps and the debris that is around. However, you, and I'm going to say Anwir as well because of his very high passive, there's something bugging you as you are walking towards this other hall. First, you can't quite put your finger on it, and of course, Teely, you are excited about this noise that you've heard, or at least curious about it. After a moment, you look back and you see the footprints that you and the rest of you all are making on the floor of this wide space, this wide stone cavern. You think there might be more footprints visible than there should be based on previous times, the times you've walked in this area.
Everybody stop. I'm going to take a look and kind of assess the footprints and see if I can determine if one is out of place.
Make a survival check, please.
Well, that's an advantage, right?
Sure isn't.
Am I able to assist him if I'm, kneeling down, inspecting?
Not now. If he's
it.
just declared how bad the roll was, I'm not going to give him advantage. Oh, I forgot I was going to help with that. Oh well, next time.
Should have asked for help.
What did you roll, Anwir?
I rolled an 11.
An 11. There are more footprints in this area than, at least as you recall, than there should be for when you first came this way and first explored in this particular area before heading up on the other side of the space towards the Hall of Canvas. But you're not 100% sure. Maybe you just lost track of the number of people who were over in this area, or maybe there are more. It's difficult for you to tell for sure.
What's the hold up, Anwir?
I believe we may not be the only ones down here, but I can't be sure.
There are more footsteps than there should be. So I propose that everyone takes off their shoes or looks at their feet, lines up who's that, and then we find out who's the extra. And we'll know because they'll have shoes or not, and that could help us know if they are wearing shoes.
Well, that's quite the idea, Teely, but perhaps you could do me a favor. Where do you think the best hiding places in a place like this are? Maybe that's where they are.
Oh, that's a great idea. I'm very good at hide and seek. My cousin can never find me playing hide and seek, but then sometimes they said that they didn't try. But I think they did. I'm pretty sure I just won. They just didn't want to admit it. Anyways, there are lots of places to hide here. Are you thinking someone my size, your size? Because that depends on everything, because I can crawl.
Well, you said there are extra footprints, so They must be around our size, generally. Or maybe yours.
That's probably another filthy gully dwarf.
Oh,
That's not nice.
Plus, we'd probably be able to smell them.
Well, that is perfectly true, but Blip is kind of cancelling that out right now.
I hope Spook get you.
I deserve that.
I'll reach over and stroke Dinner behind his ears. It okay.
I begin searching for a potential hiding place that someone might use, kind of looking around, peeking.
All right, well, make a perception check, Teely.
That's about 16.
16. Well, you're absolutely right. There are many places to hide down here. Many shadows, many stones to crawl behind. And of course, the different halls themselves have many places to hide within as well. But with a 17, you're not seeing any fresh footprints where you're currently walking. You and your companions appear to be the first people traveling along this side of the conservatory in quite some time.
As we keep going forward, I'm going to keep a watchful eye for motion or a watchful ear for noise, something that's out of place in our group.
Well, anyone trying to sneak up on you would have to roll very high indeed on We're the Ever Vigilant. As you make your way towards this hall of stone, you reach the steps and see the door, like all the other doors except for the one that was barred, is mostly rotted and doesn't present any kind of a barrier at all.
But look at this architecture. Clearly dwarven make.
Are dwarfs that bad at building stuff?
Oh, well, it's crumbled now, dear. It was a cataclysm, but you can still see some beauty.
My eyes dart to each member of the group, trying to find some beauty.
I raise my hand.
Gesture at Blip and give her a wink.
Jarvan looks out from around the side of Tullian and says, "Are we going in there?"
Oh, 100%.
I just push the door open.
I stare at the Kenda.
Oh, sorry, did you want to push it?
Teely.
You're right, I didn't knock.
A bit quieter, my dear.
yes, that would be best. In the future, maybe.
Tullian steps forward to be the first one in. He steps through, stops a moment, turns back and looks at you all and says, "I don't see anything dangerous, at least."
That's because it's dark in there. Let me have a look. I'll push past him.
All right. You step into a large square room, roughly 40 feet per side. There are numerous tables and stools scattered throughout this area, mostly rotten or crushed by fallen rock and debris, like some of the other places you've been. There are several sets of wooden shelves along the sides of the room that remain mostly intact, although their contents are covered with dust. And the opposite side of the room from where you entered, there is a wide staircase. It takes up almost the entire length of that side of the square and goes up to a higher level. As you step into this, any of you who have ever encountered any sort of a artisan's workshop recognize the layout. There's one central area where the master would be, and then stations out from it where various journeymen and apprentices would be working on their particular projects for that master.
Can I tell what sort of things would be created in this room?
Sure, make a perception check. Or an investigation check, your choice.
Dirty 20.
A dirty 20. Well, looking around, you could see that in this area at least, it seems to be mostly design and prep work. You find a few rolls of parchment, some journals and such with sketch marks in them, and tools. Although there's a bizarre thing about the tools, and I'll mention that in a moment, but with a dirty 20, you find in the desk area of the central part of this room where the master would be, a set of letters. There appear to be to someone named Fragonor Jasso, and they are from someone named Quarath. In them, they discuss the various materials that could be used for stone carving with regards to some very large project that was being worked on. Something for a commemoration of something or someone called the King Priest. You see references to a place called Istar and to the magnificent glory of this particular person. The letters mostly, as I said, deal with the actual act of sculpting. Why the best stone to carve is marble, but it won't last outside. Outside you need granite, but you can't get as detailed with granite. Goes on to say that the best choice in this particular instance is to create a clay or plaster mold and then cast a sculpture in metal, bronze being preferred. I will allow anyone who is proficient in history to make a history check based on what Onweir has found.
That will be another dirty 20.
Well done. Lhasa, well, the King Priest is probably referring to none other than Beldinas Pilofiro, King Priest of Istar, the one most widely credited with being the cause of the cataclysm, although some circles might debate that he is solely responsible. But for the most part, those that have studied history believe that when he made his demand of the gods to be allowed power over what he considered the wrong balanced nature of the system of good and evil and neutrality on Krynn, he wanted to do away with it completely and make all evil and even all creatures that had more of a balanced viewpoint, have them all be under the control of what he considered to be goodness. As a punishment for that, the cataclysm was sent by the gods. Appears that prior to the cataclysm, there was discussion between somebody in Istar, this Quarath, and this master sculptor, Jasso, about creating some massive sculpture. Onweir, as you're discovering all of this, you notice that you have found tools, but all they are wooden handles. You have not found a single metal tool in this entire space.
That's odd. Do I see metal of any kind? Tools or otherwise?
You do not. Not a single metal tool. And there's clearly places where tools would be, but all you find are the wooden handles, mallets.
A very strange thing to go missing. Would I know of anything that would dissolve metal or cause it to decay?
Well, simply time would have that effect. It's possible that's what's happened here.
But metal and not wood.
I will allow you to make a nature check if you wish.
Oh, sure.
DM, since my father was a armorer and I was raised in a house where he made swords on the reg, is this information I would perhaps know?
I will allow you also to make a nature check, or one of you can roll with advantage.
You probably have higher stats on Weir.
Probably, but not by much. Okay. All right. Oh, it's the third dirty 20 in a row for us as a team.
Fantastic.
Woot woot.
Well, there are creatures that exist solely by consuming ferrous metals. You've never encountered one yourself, but you have certainly heard tell of them. They can take different forms, sometimes large insects, sometimes puddles of ooze. Sometimes creatures have a particularly caustic and acidic expulsion, like a black dragon. You would have perhaps heard, or maybe even seen firsthand, the effects of that.
Tread carefully, friends. And if we encounter something, mind your swords. I believe there is something that could destroy metal down here with us.
Oh, really? It's just a workshop.
Wonder where it came from. Was it always here?
It may be long dead by now. Even so, we should remain cautious. Let's move forward.
This is why the hoopak is the best weapon, and I will defend you all.
I stand very proudly leaning on my hoopak.
Yes, we'll depend on you wholly,
Mm-hmm.
I say as I position myself behind Teely.
We're grateful to have you, Teely.
Oh, absolutely.
I'll gently pat Theron on the back as I move forward towards the staircase at the opposite end of the room.
But I guess I'm leading. I will step forward, keeping my eyes peeled.
All right. Heading up the staircase, as I said before, it's very wide, and it leads up to a landing that moves into a large octagonal workspace. The ceiling appears to be made up of several tiers of glass, which forms a dome that covers the entire room. There are numerous cracks in this glass, but overall, it seems to have withstood the force of the event that led to the burial of this entire area. You assume that to be the cataclysm. But you can't help but imagine all of the thousands of pounds of rock and dirt that are suspended above this entire area, being held back by glass. The center of this room is dominated by a huge, half-completed clay sculpture of 3 horses in harness and traces. Even incomplete, you can tell that whomever was sculpting this was a true master of their craft. In particular, the fiercely proud expression in the horse's eyes is very apparent. The sculpture itself glistens wetly in the light from Lhasa and Tullian's torch. You can see in the shadows behind it, it appears like the rest of this sculpture looks like it's actually in different pieces, as if the pieces were sculpted separately, meant to be assembled and then easily taken apart and transported. But directly on the floor in front of you, you see a very desiccated corpse, wearing rags. Hand is outstretched. Floor is covered with dust.
Have a little look to see if I can tell what 100% caused his death.
Sure, make a medicine check or a perception check, your choice.
Perception it is then. Oh God. 8 total.
8. Well, you're not able to determine what caused this person's death, but as you step forward, the dust swirls around your feet, and you can see that on the flagstones, right underneath where this hand is outstretched, there is written in bloodstain the following words. Its song dimmed, it will wait until the king priest hears sound made by music's soul.
Oh, interesting. There's some text over here. It's wrote in blood.
Music's soul.
I believe that Teely is our resident musician.
Huh?
I say as I turn my head as I'm stroking the sculpture of the horse's face.
Oh, have you heard her play, have you? Because I haven't. And she's been hiding in my cupboard for a month. I look to Tulia and I'll say, oops.
Well, that's because you said I had to be quiet. So you didn't get to hear my beautiful music. But yes, Manto is right.
I was able to hear her beautiful music before they took her lyre away.
Teely, as you are stroking this horse, you look and you realize it's odd. The rest of this room is bone dry, but this horse appears to glisten. It's wet. And as you are having this conversation and stroking, you see part of this wetness move out, almost like it's being drawn to you in some way, and it sucks away from the sculpture and lashes out like a snake. And we're going to roll initiative as you have encountered an enemy.
I just wanted to pet a horse.
Just for clarity's sake, Manto never heard her lyre because obviously it was taken before she was thrown in prison.
No, I heard it at the opera.
Oh, good point.
Oh, she did play at the opera, correct, yeah. Damn, that just makes me look silly now.
We'll make sure to keep that in, Jade.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Well, you didn't hear me play my lyre,
I didn't, sorry, you're right. I did not hear you play your lyre. I heard you play.
but you did hear my music.
I did hear your music, yes.
Oh God, initiative -1. Gotta like that. Not bad. 14 total for me.
23.
Blip, do you want Dinner to have his own initiative, or would you like him to go on your turn?
He can go on my turn. I think it'll be easier that way.
Okay.
And you said this thing is like a liquid, right?
It is. Or like a very viscous liquid.
It's creepy.
It rolls my initiative at advantage. I don't want it to do that. My actual initiative is only 8.
I rolled a 14.
As you all are having this conversation and Teely's looking at you, stroking this.
Oh yeah, I'm petting the horse. It's my friend.
She looks over to it and sees this thing come towards her. As it slurps towards you, Teely goes and then quickly darts out to try and strike you. Blip, you are first with a roll of a 23.
Woohoo! All right. As I'm standing there petting dinner, I see these wet winnies go towards Teely and appear threatening. The vessel right above my eye starts to twitch. I just start to get angry and I rage. My muscles bulge and tense as I clench my hands into fists. Then I get this snarl on my face and I start to drool spit down my chin and down my throat.
As Dinner feeds off of your intense energy and begins to kick about, getting ready to charge. What do you do, Blip?
I jump on Dinner and charge towards the wet winnies.
You just charge right towards Teely. So, okay. These viscous, gray, ooze-like creatures are very much a part of or attached and around these statues of horses. So you're essentially just charging right at the horse sculptures. Is that what you're doing?
Yes, I am charging the horse sculptures.
Okay. So you hop on Dinner's back and you and Dinner charge. You end right next to Teely, right between two of the horses, and you can see now that this gray viscous material that's making its way towards Teely, there's another one on the other horse right next to it that is also coming down, and it is trying to reach for her as well. As you come running forward, it begins to quiver as the vibrations of Dinner's hooves get closer and closer, and it stops and it moves towards you. It slurps and slinks towards you like a snake would, although there are no visible features. What do you do?
I leap from Dinner's back and grab a hold of it and start biting.
Oh my god, okay.
Did you say bite? You said bite, didn't you?
Oh yes, bite.
Choices.
Roll a attack. A bite attack, I guess.
I think I speak for all of us when I say we'll miss you.
Hiya. Does an 8 hit?
An 8? Actually, yes, does hit.
Yes.
As you just come out and sink your teeth into this. That's a lot of give. You're almost like biting into a tendril made of water, but you're able to bite into it. Roll your damage.
3 damage.
3 points of damage as you rip out part of this creature. It feels wet, and then there is a itching sensation, and then a burning sensation. Something in this water is just spicy, but not spicy for flavor. Spicy for your face, and it hurts. It's bad water.
I growl and I will continue my barrage.
All right.
Dragonlance takes place in Flint, Michigan.
Oh, God. Oh, quite. Next up, we have Farron.
The gully dwarf's turned against us. Oh no, she's just crazy. Grab my holy symbol and I look around the room and I speak the words. Bathe yourself in the silver light of Shinare, and he will grant you strength. I point towards Anwar, Manto, and Blip and cast Bless.
Wonderful. There is a sound that is reminiscent of coins being scattered onto a table, but then it begins to take a more musical quality. Those of you who have received the power, you feel almost an unseen hand that is guiding your blows and helping you avoid danger. That is an action. Anything else, Farron?
I will stay where I am currently.
Very good. Manto.
We have established that this water is not good to touch and that it corrodes metal.
Have we?
Well, I'm seeing what happened to Blip with her face.
Okay.
And then when Anwar was investigating, we had said that the metal was corroded, but not the wood.
True.
So, do I see anything around, like a pole arm of some sort, or anything not made of metal that I could perhaps use as a weapon?
You do not. There are no objects up here that would be useful in that way. And indeed, a intelligent person could definitely take the clues that they have seen and make a assumption that perhaps these are what is responsible for eating the metal.
So in that case, I am going to go in for an unarmed attack. So, question though, since I am still wearing the costume that I was wearing for the opera, I assume I'm fully clothed?
You are, yes, and I think we determined that although that armor looked like metal and plate armor, that it had the equivalent of studded leather.
Yes.
But it is not made of metal at all.
Right, and my skin is covered. Great. So I'm going to go in for an unarmed attack, though I do have my shield. So I am going to run up to the creature that Blip attacked.
All right, that is going to be the one that is the furthest to the left.
Okay. Then I will probably just run up to the one that's closest, which appears to be the one in the middle of this group. And I am going to do an unarmed attack against it.
Very good.
And that is a crit. Great.
Well done. So that obviously hits, but...
And I don't roll dice for damage for unarmed strikes, so...
No, you just do double damage. So it's going to be, I think, just double check here.
2 points of damage.
2 points of damage, that's right.
I'd like to think he's stronger than that, but okay.
You come running up and take your time, reach out, and as it is rearing up like a snake would, and as it does, it sucks away the wetness from the sculpture as the pseudopod extends, going in, looks like it's going to retaliate against Blip. You whack it with your hand very hard, and it shakes for a moment and then redirects towards you. Bringing us to the oozes. One is going to attack Blip. The pseudopod strikes out and tries to hit you, Blip. It's AC 5 for an obvious miss. The one that is next to it reaches out to attack Manto, hitting AC 8, which I believe is also a miss.
It is.
And then the final one slurps forward, moving over the back of this horse and coming down and sticking right next to the horse as it slurps down and drips to the ground, sort of right in front of Teely, and it attacks her with another 8. Man, these suckers rolled real bad. So that is 3 misses, bringing us to Teely.
Now, I do have a question.
Go for it.
Am I, at this current moment, able to cast Vicious Mockery?
You are not.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. So I turn my head back to this liquidy creature, and I just freaked out by it.
Oh, I'm much better with dry humor.
I grab my hoopunk and I just bap at it. Just keep bapping it.
Nice.
The verb to bap.
And well, that's not gonna hit. That's a 3 to hit.
Unfortunately, as you do strike it, it moves out of the way and you hit the stone statue instead. For not having any eyes or senses that you can see, it seems to detect that your blow is coming and it moves out of the way as you try to hit it. Anything else from you, Teely?
I'm just stood there whacking it with my hoopunk. There's nothing else I can do.
And you continue to miss with each attempted bap. Onweir.
Oh, I just want to bap everything. I'm going to see the commotion ahead of me. I'm going to reach behind me and pop out the bow from the clamp in my shoulder. And with the same hand, I'm going to grab an arrow with my index and middle finger. And in one motion, I'm going to bring the bow in front of me and catch the fletching of the arrow in my teeth. And I pull the bow back and I let loose my first arrow of the campaign at the blob that is near Teely.
I stare. What you gonna do with that?
That's a 22 to hit.
22 is a hit.
With it engaged with Teely, that would be a total of 12 points of damage, including my sneak attack.
Fantastic. The arrow streaks across the space, passing over Teely and Blip and Dinner, and strikes this gray, viscous creature. 12 points of damage. As the arrow hits it, it actually embeds into the clay of the statue, and the viscous creature disintegrates around it and drips down to the ground. However, as it does, your arrow falls out of the statue, its metal tip completely destroyed.
Understood.
I wish Tigli saw that, so I could have swooned so hard.
Anything else from your Onweir?
No, having felt the blessing from Farron, I will look towards him as I let loose the arrow, and I will nod and give him a small smile.
Rips his beard.
That's going to bring us to Tulian Haxos, who charges forward after he takes Jarvan, pushes Jarvan behind him, behind the corner of the steps leading up into this room so that Jarvan is out of sight. He then runs forward and slashes at the gray ooze next to Manto with his short sword. He hits, bringing his sword down, carves it in two. The two sides immediately reform, but as the blade passed through it, some of the liquid splattered on the ground and then evaporates or dissipates. And you can tell he did do some damage, but as he brings his sword back, he looks at the end of it, and you can see that the sharpened edge of it has been corroded and drips down almost as if the sword is made of some sort of butter or wax, and the metal is creating little teardrops as it pours down the side, and he shakes it, shaking off the acid that's on the side, and curses. Brings us to Lhasa.
I just want to look at him and just say,
Do you not listen to Onweir?
What? All right, Lhasa, your turn.
I've been staring at the ceiling, absolutely entranced by this fractured structure that's seemingly holding back the weight. As I hear the thunder of hoofs and the cry of Farron, I come to myself. Teely, please, get me back from there. We need you to protect us. And I'll once again rub my hands together briskly and begin whispering into my hand. Sleeping flame of old, please awaken flame. And I'll send a bolt of flame towards one of the viscous creatures around Teely.
Perhaps the one that has been the most damaged, as far as you can tell?
Yes, absolutely.
Very good. Roll your attack.
That is a 15 on die, so we have 19 to hit.
That definitely hits.
Yes. And let's see. Only 1 damage.
You did 1 damage. Oh, man. As the bolt flies across the space, Teely and Blip, you feel the heat from it as it passes over you. Dinner squeals and backs away from it as this bolt of flame hits the creature right next to you, Blip, as you are about, I assume, to chew into it again. But before you can, this 1 point of fire damage sizzles into this creature, and it falls and dissipates in ash and little blobs of blackening goo, as one of them has been killed.
Anyone else smell bacon?
Bringing us to the top of round 2. Blip.
So I stare dumbfounded as this water that I was attacking is gone. I look around wildly and viciously lunge at the next water blob.
All right. Roll your attack.
Yes, my teeth are barred. I am hungry. An 11.
And 11 hits.
Yes. 3 points of damage as I chomp and then just start slurping.
Oh, God.
Once again, as you chew into this thing, there's this sensation that it doesn't have much of a flavor to it. Maybe a slightly metallic tang, and you bite into it, and then you can almost hear your own flesh sizzling as the liquid runs down your chin. And now I'm afraid I'm going to have to make you take damage, Blip. You take...
It's like drinking a car battery.
4 points of acid damage from this bite attack.
Or just Coke regularly.
I grunt and growl and I keep going.
It's squishy and it's just so nasty.
Is that halved if she's raging?
Not acid damage. Farron.
I will look to Anuir and say, well, that's very impressive. And I will pull off the great club off my back, and I will charge towards the one next to Tulian Haxos.
All right.
And move myself into hopefully a flanking position.
You're flanking with Manto,
Yeah.
definitely.
That is a 10 on the dice. That's 15 to hit.
That's a hit.
I rolled 2 damage plus. Where are you? Great club. It's 5 damage total. Bludgeoning.
So you knock into this creature and it reverberates. You can see ripples moving through it as the blow connects. And as the ripple gets to one end of it, you could see parts of it separate and flatten and almost evaporate or sizzle, turning into dust. You've definitely hurt it. That's going to bring us to Manto.
So I am going to punch it again,
Okay.
since I don't know what else to do. That is going to be 12 points to hit.
12 to hit. That is a hit.
Right, so that's 1 point of damage, and then I am going to bonus action shove it.
All right. Well, that's going to be a contested athletics check. So here's the thing about shoving. It is an actual attack. Do you have this as a bonus action with something in particular?
Yes, I have Shield Master.
Oh,
So if I take the attack action on my turn, I can use a bonus action to try and shove it within a creature within 5 feet.
very good. And you did say you have your shield equipped, so absolutely you can.
I did say I had my shield.
You bash your shield into it. It has failed. Do you wish to knock it away or knock it down?
I wish to knock it down.
All right. 2 things happen. First, as you knock into it with your shield, you wince as you could see the blade that Tulian is using, what an attack made with his blade against this creature, what effect it had. And as you knock into this thing, you feel it and you can see it flatten out around the shield and begin to move and flagellate along the edge of it excitedly, as if it can sense the metal and is trying to absorb it or corrode it or eat it. It has no effect on your shield. However, when you push this thing down to the ground, it goes down in a puddle and immediately comes right back up without legs or arms or discernible features of any sort. It looks like prone is just as good as standing for this thing, and that does not have any effect.
Well, Pip, I tried. But I learned some valuable knowledge.
That's the real treasure.
The more you know.
All right, Manto's done. It is now the turn of the remaining gray oozes. One of them attacks Manto. Pseudopod strikes out. It's AC 10. Terrible rolls from the DM this evening. The other one attempts to hit Tulian Haxos. An 8. Another terrible roll from the DM. Well, this isn't going well at all. Teely?
Even with Lazda's request of me retreating, I'm still going to keep bapping it because I've got to protect my friends. I'm the strongest one here. I got to do my thing.
Do it.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. That is actually a 16 to hit.
That's a hit, Teely.
You rolled a crit. You were so excited.
I was just happy to hit. I was just happy to hit it.
I would feel exactly the same way.
That is 6 bludgeoning damage.
So tell me, when you struck this creature, what part of your hoopak did you use?
So I'm using it in the staff feature.
All right.
So I'm kind of just bapping the boy. Bapping it.
Okay. Do you have a piercing feature with this weapon?
I do. That
Yes.
would be with the javelin version.
All right, so with the metal tip, but you have specifically said you are not using the metal tip, so nothing happens to your hoopak. What was that damage again?
That was 6 bludgeoning.
6 bludgeoning, much like with Farron's attack, it reverberates, and you can see the ripple of your attack move through it. And as it reaches the other side, parts of it detach and turn to dust and ash. It is still up, but looks a little smaller than it did a few moments ago. Anything else, Teely?
And no.
Thank you for that very considered answer.
I'll take the win. I'll take the win of hitting.
Onweir.
I will reach behind me and grab another arrow. I will grip it between the sides of my teeth. I will pull back and I will aim for the one that is in front of Blip this time.
As you pull it back, you hear a small voice of Jarvan. That's incredible. Watching you, a one-armed archer, use a bow and arrow.
You have bless.
I am blessed still.
You are indeed.
So that's a total of 12 to hit.
12. As you aim, you can feel the power of Shannare, Farron's goddess. It's a little unclear. This power guides your hand and nudges it just a little bit to the side as you release, and you strike, doing...
I hit for 7 points of damage.
This is on the one that has been being attacked or the one that is yet to be attacked?
This is the one that Monto and Blip have been... they've both been attacked, I believe.
Indeed.
Teely has hit one, and then Monto and Blip have hit the other. I'm shooting the one that's in front of Blip to prevent her from sucking on acidic water.
Got it. Well, don't knock it till you try it, right, Blip? So the arrow strikes it, and it parts around the outskirts of your arrow, and then reforms, and the arrow falls to the ground. Your arrowhead completely dissolved. Bringing us to Tullian Haxos, who lunges with his sword, this time missing, as he seemed to be a little reticent to do damage to his sword, and his attack wasn't quite as full-bodied as it was the previous turn. Lhasa.
Watching this all unfold, I'm becoming more and more panicked. I grasp at my necklace and I say, oh, what would Arnoth say? How would he do it? Right. And I begin the ritual again to cast yet another spell. But this time, I dig just a bit deeper. Spark, passion, once forgotten. Take home. And that should hit 16.
Yes, indeed.
And that's 6 damage this time.
This is a firebolt?
Firebolt, correct. Sorry. I should clarify that.
So, Farron, as you and Tullian and Manto are striking this gray ooze between the three of you, there's another blast of heat, and you duck out of the way, and you could smell just the hint of burning hair as your beard was nearly incinerated by the bolt, but it strikes this gray ooze, which disappears in a cloud of steam, then rains little flecks of ash and dust down, destroyed by the power of Lhasa's magic.
I fall backwards and start rolling in the dirt, thinking that my beard's on fire. Well over-exaggerating.
You bloody idiot!
Got it.
That means there are 2 down, correct?
There are indeed 2 down.
Okay.
Blip.
So I stand up and reel back from where I attacked the ooze, and I'm dripping acid and it's burning my mouth. And as this continues to happen, I get madder and madder and my face turns this blood red color. Ooh! And I'll run and I'll jump and latch onto the next one. And I'm just growling and grunting as I'm trying not to eat it, but I'm biting into it. You can hear the gnashing.
Literally ripping it apart with your bare hands and teeth.
Yes.
Roll your attack.
Hiya. 7.
A 7. Are you blessed? Are you one of the ones that was blessed? Farron didn't bless the gully dwarf.
Yes, I did. I blessed Onweir, Blip, and Manto.
Oh, well, in that case, you are blessed, so roll a d4 for me.
I am a blessed. Aha, boba, bless. D4. Hiya. It's an additional 3.
Well, that is going to be enough to hit. Roll your damage, Blip.
Yes.
I did something.
You did good.
Whee. That is 3 teeth damage.
3 feral blip damage.
Yes.
Your rage blinds you to the pain, but nevertheless, you still take the damage. You take 3 points of acid damage, Blip.
Shh. I laugh.
It probably does this ooze more damage from the diseases it's going to get from the teeth rather than the actual gnashing.
That's real.
Presuming it lives long enough to be diseased.
I feel like it should at least take the poison condition.
To catch rabies.
Hey, when I pull back and you can see like the strings of spit and saliva connect myself to this ooze, you can see little flecks of food pieces still stuck into it.
Yeah, honestly, that's the best teeth cleaning you've gotten in years.
That's right.
Oh, I was going to say, this acid has actually cleaned your teeth. The entire bottom portion of Blip's face is spotless. It's just perfectly clean.
It'll last 5 minutes.
This is the fan art I need.
Farron, your turn.
Rolling around on the floor, thinking I'm on fire. I look up to Anwir, like,
My beard, my beard.
Your beard is fine, Farron. Stand.
Blessed Riox.
I will look over to the final ooze.
Shannari's radiant wrath descend upon you.
I will cast Sacred Flame.
All right, it is going to sense the power coming and try to jump out of the way.
Yes. DC 13.
It just failed with a 0. Oh, sorry, 1. Not quite as funny as a 0, but still a failure.
Nice. 1d8 damage, which is 3 damage.
3 damage as the power of your deity. Have we determined that this is a female or a male god?
Dwarves know that she's female, but she always appears to dwarves as a male.
Aha.
I've done my research. Because dwarves resonate with males, sexist thing.
Well, here is something to consider, Farron. When she appeared to you, she took the form of your wife.
Right, okay.
So think about that. However, you did definitely hit, and the sacred damage does wound it. Manto, it is your turn.
Would you allow me to attempt to attack it with my shield?
You're essentially using your shield as a improvised weapon in this case. So you can attack with it, it just won't do...
Right, but I assume it will do more than 1 point of damage?
One would hope, but that'll all be up to the dice. Roll, this is going to be a strength attack, so...
Okay. So that is going to be a 15 plus strength, which is nothing because I am a dex-based fighter.
But a 15 does hit. Now roll 1d4.
Okay. Hey, I did better than 1. I got 2.
2, as you hit against this thing with the shield, you do manage to hit the clay sculpture behind it and cracks, but you also hit the creature itself, and once again, it does not appear to have done any damage to your shield.
Awesome.
It is now its turn. Even though it cannot apparently damage it, it still wants that metal, and so it attacks you, Mento.
Okay.
An 11.
That does not hit.
Yeah, so a bad day to be the DM. Bringing us to Teely.
There's only one ooze left, correct? And it's the one that is in Blip's mouth?
Yes, it's the one that was in Blip's mouth and also the one that just was hit by Manto.
Alright, so I can hit it then. Alright, I'll try. I'm gonna try and, using my Hupak more as like a staff to kind of hit it again. That is a 4 to hit.
Total?
Yeah.
That's not enough, Teely. Sorry, you've missed. It once again seems to sense that this blow is coming and dodges out of the way.
Blip, stay still. I can't get it.
I'm shaking my head from side to side like a dog. I have it stuck in my mouth.
Oh, you spit got on my face. Oh no.
Ditter's just squealing. The rest of you could swear that Ditter's actually just cheering Blip on. As Blip tears into this thing. It's going to bring us to Anwir.
You know, I bet celebrities would pay a lot of money for whatever acid that this creature puts off that clears your skin like that.
I got the face of a newborn babe.
Yikes.
It's a great facial peel.
The Grey Ooze Salon.
They exist. Roll your attack, Anwir.
Given the questionable mastication that's happening over there, do I feel like I have a clear shot without risking Blip?
Yes. From rules as written, you can attack through your
right.
allies with no penalty. If there was extenuating circumstances, I would give him a little cover perhaps, but in this sense, no.
All right, then I will draw my third arrow from the quiver, and I will be extra careful to aim.
Of course, if you miss.
Right, yeah, all hell breaks loose. All right, so, thank goodness I'm blessed. Let's see. I'll roll another d4 to add to it for a total of 12 again.
That's enough. Roll your damage, Onweir.
That's a total of 8 points of damage.
It disintegrates, once again ruining your arrow, but no longer a threat to anyone. And as this metallic scent begins to dissipate into the room, and you all look around for signs of trouble, there is none to be seen. The glistening of the wet statues has disappeared and now looks dry and dusty like everything else that you've seen down here. The threat appears to have passed.
I stand up and brush myself down. You bloody idiot! You nearly burned me alive!
No, I swear, I made absolutely certain. I'm so sorry.
You are fine, dwarf. And
Fine?
wizard, we are very fortunate to have you among us. That was amazing. And all of you, I am quite impressed.
I nearly lost my bloody beard!
It was so cool with the fire and the magic stuff, and you were like pew pew pew. It's so cool.
No. I think what Farron did was truly amazing. I mean, did you see the guidance of the gods here on us, on you? It Onweir. How did it feel? How did it feel?
It felt quite incredible, actually. You have a gift, Farron.
I lighten up and start smiling now. Well,
Yes, that is not something I have ever seen in my lifetime. I've only heard the stories of such power.
Is that how you shot your arrows? Because you're missing one of your arms, so you can't fire with... Is that how... Did the gods pull the thing for you back?
And I mimic gesturing like pulling an arrow.
You see my face grow quite sad, and I hang my head a little bit. And I become a little contemplative and in a low voice.
I was once a very fine archer. I'm afraid now the only thing I can claim to be is competent.
rubbish. That's absolutely amazing. I'm truly impressed, Onweir. Truly. I clap him on the shoulder.
Which one? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, too soon. Hand goes right through the clothes.
right through the missing arm. It just becomes super awkward.
He said shoulder.
That's true. I do have two shoulders.
That's true.
I do.
I'm sorry, Onweir. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. But... I mean, you're very good. You hit. I'm just asking how you did it. Is that magic? Does everyone here have magic?
Well, I'm actually rather confused because you said before, but surely you were born with this.
No. This is recent, Farron.
Tilly, you hear once again the sound of soft lute playing. Doesn't seem to be coming from a particular direction.
I know this is a very important moment and we're learning about each other, but I can hear again. So just a parting word of advice, Onweir. I have heard of secondhand shops. You might be able to find one there.
And I begin to scurry off, listening for the sound of the music.
I think if anybody else had said it, Onweir would get very angry, but there's something very disarming about the blatant ka-dunk that comes out of Teely's mouth, and I can't help but smile a little bit.
I will say, you can tell it's when she says it, she means it genuinely. Like, she has heard of secondhand shops, and she's like, that could help.
Totally help. Totally.
Look, I'm just saying the fact that it was disarming really got me.
I know.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
right.
No, I
Yeah, get it? I'm glad. Thank you for picking that up. I was trying to be subtle.
No, I can't be subtle. That was too nice.
I continue the conversation with Onweir, and I'm not the first cleric you've met, am I? If this is recent, well, it must have only been months ago.
I'm sorry, Farron. Now's not the time.
And you see me start to grow a little pale.
I'm sorry for intruding.
All the same, I think a change of subject is in order. Manto, that shield, is made of metal, is it not?
It is indeed. However, when they gave it to me at the opera, they said that it was a prop, but I instantly recognized this is the genuine article. This shield most certainly belonged to a knight of Solemnia.
How? I don't suppose, when all of this is done, you could spare an hour of time that I might take a closer look. I want to understand how it has not degraded. This is something special, I think.
I also would like to understand this because if it is going to be something that I am able to use, it is important to know what its power is.
Yes, and if it's truly a Knight of Solemnia's shield, it's an artifact. It needs to be written about. It needs to be remembered.
Am I in any luck in trying to find the sound coming from anywhere at all as I kind of run off?
Sure, make a perception check.
It's a 22.
You see another clay sculpture. It's clearly meant to be displayed along with these horses. The horses have their bridle intact and the traces meant to be attached to a chariot. And here now is the chariot. It is complete, whereas the horses were still, there are a few things that were detailed, but the rest were a little amorphous. But this one is finished, and it is a magnificent chariot with dozens and dozens of figures sculpted onto the panels above the wheels. The sculptures are of men and women and children, dwarves, elves, and humans, all looking adoringly towards the sculpted figure that is seated on a large throne in the center of the chariot. The figure is a robed man with long flowing hair which is held back by a crown. Draped on his shoulders is a mantle with numerous indentations as if they are sockets where gems and precious stones should be inserted at some point, or could perhaps eventually be inserted. The figure is sitting comfortably, his right arm raised and his palm facing outward as if in blessing. From this mantle around his shoulders, on his left side, there is a regal-looking pauldron that is rising from his left shoulder. His youthful face radiates confidence, power, and holy beneficence.
You guys, that note earlier, I was talking to Onweir about maybe Music Soul being an audience, but
Hearing you talk about this, I walk to the other end of the room.
I will head over to where Anwer is and have a look at this statue.
I will also head over there.
As the rest of the group heads over, Jarvan comes up to you, Lhasa, and says, I've always dreamed about learning magic. That is why I had Tullian meet you and Anwer at the dock earlier. I had heard there were mages coming, and I've always been fascinated by the stories and the tales. That is why I wanted to play the character of Raistlin in the opera.
A very small and modest smile breaks across my face. Yes, my lord. I understand. The practice of magic is fascinating to some, but it's a lot like cultivating a fire, my lord. One can only burn so much before they have to find more fuel. And so, I think, for a man like you, already destined for greatness, why not consider us like candles to be burned in your stead?
It's not quite the same words, but I can tell that that's the sort of thing that my father would have said. And I understand it. Sort of.
That said, my lord, I don't mean to discourage you, please. Don't mistake me. Perhaps private tutelage could be arranged. My master is quite something.
His eyes light up when you say that, as you've touched upon a nerve here, this literally telling a small boy that something he's dreamed about his entire life could potentially be available to him. He is about to levitate off the ground in excitement.
My dear lord, please. I urge you, when we are free of this place, if you would allow me to send you letters, perhaps we could converse on matters of history and magic together.
I would like that very much. Thank you.
But I know it is not my place.
Well, I will see to it that it is your place. I have that sort of authority, I think.
Well, these are dreams for another time, my lord. For now, we must dream of the exit.
He nods, and his excitement takes a more focused mien as he calms down and begins to look pointedly around the room. The rest of you over now by this statue. With your perception check, Teely, you can still hear the music, barely perceptible. It doesn't seem to be coming from any place in particular, but it is present.
I don't know. Maybe we need to play or do something. I don't know why someone would write that in blood, though. That seems a bit dramatic.
Well, dramatic circumstance requires dramatic means. And the cataclysm was certainly dramatic. So, but I think you're right. This note has deeper meaning. We should see if we can create this music of the soul.
Because I can hear it. I can hear music playing.
I can't hear anything.
Well, that's because you're old.
I'm not bloody old.
Teely, I can't hear anything either.
Nor I.
Oh.
Well, if you know, I'm quite sprightly for a dwarf.
What direction do you hear it coming from, Teely?
It's like really quiet. It's like everywhere. I can just...
Really quiet.
What?
What, like really, really quiet?
Yeah.
Are you hearing it inside your head, Teely?
Am I hearing it inside my head, DM? Am I going crazy?
Roll for crazy check. It's not your impression that you're hearing it inside your head.
No, it's audible. Like I hear it. I can't pin where it's coming from.
And a somewhat distressed look comes over Teely's face, and as I'm making these wild gestures with my hands around my head, just trying to pin where I can hear it from, getting a little bit frustrated at the fact I can't figure out where this is.
I can't hear it. Adware can't hear it. Last I can't hear it, Mads, how can you hear it?
You see that because I heard those sounds earlier, I am straining very hard to see if I do in fact hear this. No.
So none of us can hear it.
However, to be fair, I was hearing sounds earlier that none of you heard, so I fully believe that when Teely says she is hearing something, that she is hearing something.
Thank you.
No, true.
Blip, can you hear it?
No one asked Blip.
I ask her.
I know. I know. Hear nothing.
She's missing her bottom jaw.
Bit of a numb tongue, have you?
I toddle over to Manto, reach up, grab his shirt with my hand, and tug. Spicy. And I point to my mouth.
Farron, help.
I look down at Blip and then, yes, look over at Farron, and I'm like, you have shown extraordinary power in the past. Is this something that you are able to aid with?
Oh, let me have a look. I will head over to Blip and, without touching, just try to have a look. Open your mouth, girl.
Ow.
This is so amazing.
I heal other hurt.
Oh, by here is so good.
a foul stench. If you could see breath, this wave of green would basically form a fist and punch you in the face. Yeah, I open my mouth wider and it gets worse. It's almost like there's a piece of shrimp stuck in there or something. It's bad.
Does like a bug crawl out like behind one of your teeth?
You're not like the Walking Dead. Come on.
I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry.
It's almost as if your beard's on fire again, Baron.
Squint my eyes and...
That's absolutely disgusting.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm not talking about your missing tongue. I'm talking about your breath. Well, let's have a look. I can help, but I'm tapped after this.
I will place my hand around my amulet.
Blessed Shinari, close the wounds of the righteous, such that they may continue to serve your will.
And I will place my finger on her tongue, and I'll be closing my eyes as I do so, and cast Cure Wounds at 19th level.
You're going to need it for that.
The mouth just seals over as it heals.
1d8 plus 3. 6 hit points back.
Yay!
I just look at Farron so gratefully. My eyes well up. I clasp my hands together. Thank you. And I lunge forward and I just give him this great big sweaty muddy hug.
Nice.
And with the foul stench of my breath and a little bit of saliva on my lips, I give him a kiss on the cheek.
Aww.
Oh.
Ow! Get her off me! Get this!
Thank you. Spicy water. It hurt. Thank you.
Don't mention it. I mean it.
And I push her off, I straighten my clothes, and wipe any mud that I see that's clearly on my toga now.
I ship it. Do you guys ship it? Do you think I ship it? They're both dwarves. I love this. This is beautiful.
I turn back to Manto and go, It okay. It fixed now. He fixed.
Very good. Very good.
I said don't mention it.
Well, that was beautiful. I loved that. So, anyone know what that statue is?
I believe this is the king priest.
Yes, most definitely.
Oh, we need a play for him.
Yes, that is true. Towering effigy of hubris, to say the least.
What did that message say? Teely, do you remember?
It's song dimmed. It will wait until the king priest hears sound made by music's soul, I think.
That's exactly correct.
And the music's soul is the audience.
Do you suppose he's waiting for adulation? I suppose the statue would have received cheers upon its arrival. It seems a terrible thing to do.
Teely, when you hear the music again, clap.
I will do so, DM, whenever I next hear it.
You wait a few moments and then begin to applaud. And as she does, you all hear the sound of one person applauding. And then as she's applauding, it begins to sound like 2. And then 3. And then 12. And then 24, as the sound of applause builds and builds, and it begins to sound like an entire nation of people applauding and cheering. And that sound grows and grows and becomes more discordant until it sounds like a scream, and then a incredible deluge of water coming to crush and wipe away everything ever built. It shakes the room. It shakes the ground underneath you. And one of the panes of glass hanging above you detaches from the ceiling and falls, strikes the statue of the king priest right where the pauldron on his left side and his neck are connected. There is a crack. And then, slipping out from it, Teely, you can see a glint of gold. The music in your head stops.
Completely stunned, I turn to my friends, just somewhat amazed.
Okay, did you guys hear that?
Oh, I heard it, yes.
How could we not have heard it?
I apologize.
Onweir, you're a genius!
And I begin to try and almost I try and parkour my way almost up this statue to see the gold. I'm wondering if this statue is made out of solid gold.
So as you hop off the knee and then the side of the chariot and the side of the arm and climb up to where this opening has been revealed, as you get closer you realize, oh no, it's not gold, it's wood. You could have swore it looked like gold, but now that you're close, it appears to be something made of wood. The statue appears to be hollow, something made of clay or plaster that would have eventually been used as a mold for something metallic. But this glass, as it came down and cut into this part of the statue, has revealed that this pauldron, this piece, stuck onto this statue as almost an afterthought, was hiding something. And as you reach it, you can see that it is a lyre. It is made of well-polished wood, curved in a U shape, the sides of which curl outward at the tops into tight scrolls, very similar to the one that you have misplaced. As you look at it, you can see that there is a silver bar that goes across the top of it, where strings would be attached with pegs that could be tightened, but there are no strings present.
I reach my hand out, somewhat gingerly at first, and then I grasp it in my hands, afraid it's going to break.
All right.
And I turn to the group, and I hold it up, almost like the scene in The Lion King.
We can't clear that, but just for the fun of it. Pink pajamas with penguins on the bottom. Pink pajamas with penguins on the bottom.
It's the circle.
Oh my God, what is happening?
I turn to my friends and I raise it up. Looking at it, my eyes just filled with wonder and excitement. A huge grin spreads across my face, and I begin to shake.
Look, it worked!
The inveterate liar. Teely, I believe we need to bring that down to the podium.
Oh, yeah.
As you hold this, you have, of course, your feeling of excitement, but there is a palpable feeling of giddiness, of great anticipation coming off of this lyre. You feel it joining with your own emotion and resonating and amplifying it. You almost lose consciousness, actually, as this wave of euphoria passes over you. It feels as if the instrument itself is thrilled to be finally uncovered. But after a few moments, begins to fade, and you're able to catch your breath and collect yourself.
Are you all right there, girl?
I climbed down too fast, I think. Whew. Look it.
Wood box.
Yeah. Oh, it's so exciting. Jarvan, you cannot have this one.
I understand.
It may be cursed, girl. You might want to let the wizard have a look.
Well, perhaps at some point I can take a closer look. But if it is a lyre that plays forever, perhaps it never needed strings in the first place.
Humoring Lassa, I kind of move my hand over where the strings would normally be to see if anything happens.
Bring.
You guys heard that, right?
That's a magic. It's a magic lyre.
I honestly said that as a hope, but I didn't truly expect. Teely, do be very careful with that. I would like very much at some point to take some notes.
My narrowed eyes at Jarvan holding the lyre close to my chest, and hearing Lassa, my eyes relax and my grip relaxes.
Of course. I'll take good care of it. I promise I won't break it. I'm gonna take the best care of this. And we can look at it together. You're smart, right? Maybe we can learn things together.
Yes. I say as I lick my lips with a slight bit of hunger and touch my face in clear anxiety. Yes, I think we'll have a close look together. It'll be no problem.
Yikes.
Oh, that's creepy. Stop that. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna walk away right now. Okay.
We better be careful. There's a lot of magical items in this world. Cursed, lost for the ages.
Yes.
Farron, this is exciting.
Exactly. They need to be understood, Farron. These things, the records of our ancestry, they matter more than anything else.
Come from inside the king priest.
This is true.
What did that cause?
No. But if we forget these things, Farron, if we don't take the time to understand them, then we're doomed to follow the same path. That's why these things need to be understood, Farron. You can't lock them away. You can't toss them away. You have to understand them, even if they are cursed, even if they are dark. We need to understand them.
That's why I said you need to have a look at it. You're the wizard.
Yes, but not right now. Not right now.
We do have a clear path forward. Let us bring the lyre down to the pedestal.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. We can bring my precious.
Oh no. What have I done?
What did she say? What did you say?
She said, my precious.
Can bring my precious.
We're doomed.
It's over.
Onweir, as you are saying this and you step forward, you, amongst your group, are the first to detect the shifting and the crackling sound coming from above.
I hold a hand up and look to the ceiling.
The place where the piece of glass fell from the ceiling, the crack that it made is continuing to make its way across the dome.
Whoever's closest to me, I will grab them by the shirt and I will say, "Run!" And I will move to the entrance underneath the glass.
All right. Everybody looks at you, looks up, and begins to run, or at least I won't speak for everyone. I will certainly speak for Tullian and Jarvan. Tullian runs towards Jarvan and gathers him up and begins to basically just dive down the stairs. What do the rest of you do?
I pause. I look and see everybody scrambling.
Run. Do you bite the glass? Do you bite the air at the glass?
What? Where you go?
Dinner comes running towards you and comes up and actually scoops you up onto his back and begins to run out with you on your pig's back.
If Teely is nearby, I'm grabbing her as well.
Clutching the lyre in one hand, my skirt in the other so I don't trip over it, running towards, and I begin to almost stumble, and as Larsa comes by and grabs me, I manage to run out together.
As the glass crashes down, I raise my shield above my head to prevent the biggest chunks from hitting me. So I raise my shield above my head and I just dash to the entrance that we came in and down the stairs, making sure not to slip on anything. And
Excellent. So added to the sounds of the crashing masonry and glass, there's an occasional ping, 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 as Manto runs with his shield above his head. As you get halfway down the steps, there is a massive groan and a crash and a rumble as the room that you were just in is totally and forever destroyed. Tons of stone and earth coming crashing down with a deafening roar as the cataclysm makes its long-delayed claim upon this workshop. Hi, VDM here, Mr. Eager DM. On behalf of the cast and production crew, thank you. Thank you so much for the incredible support you've shown our little podcast. There's plenty more story to come, and we're excited for the opportunity to bring it to you. We hope it's obvious how much fun we're having making this, and your positive feedback is icing on the cake. If you've been enjoying our podcast and you'd like to buy the cast and crew a cup of coffee to show your appreciation, we'd love to take you up on it. Head on over to ko-fi.com. That's www.ko-fi.com/lawfulstupidrpg
to show your support. Thanks again, and until next time, as Sularis Othbithas. Farewell.
This has been a Lawful Stupid RPG production.